we'll continue with the SPQ, seller property questionnaire. Yeah. All right. Let's starting with the questions. Oh, okay. The A1. Yes. Those are starting. Okay, the first one we all know if anybody. So we gotta have the solar no inspection. Seller did not do the inspection when they purchased the house. Period. A1. So within the last 3 years, the death of the occupant and the property upon the property. So that is actually determined by, now I have to do the addition. The 3 years, within 3 years, they didn't never mention about natural death or unnatural death. But for what I learned from the attorney, legal consultant, this is only for natural death. Okay? So sickness, die in old ages, okay? Those are okay. If you got heart attack home, okay, let's consider sickness. Cancer, okay? But if somebody died in AIDS, you don't have to disclose. Last time we learned that, right? Through the, yeah, because that's their own human right. We learned that from our textbook, 101, the real estate textbook. But I mean, if you're looking at homicide, suicide, you should, and if you know, you still better disclose. I mean, you could mark, it is probably more than 3 years, but on the explanation, I would do the addition. If anything happened on the homicide or suicide. Sometimes, did you ever heard about like if the landlord is so malleable, if their tenant suicide or homicide inside the property? Oh boy. And landlord has to disclose forever. Whenever, they want to rent it, they want to sell it. Even the lease, we have to disclose. If you lease the property, with someone pass away inside the house, you still need to disclose. If it's more than 3 years, technically, we just verbally, if you know it, verbally, I have to tell the tenant. Verbally. Just like my cousin has a house in Hacienda High, and every time if I want to lease it, and I have to disclose, it got a swimming pool in the backyard and has an accident before. Even that's long time ago. I think probably happened 15 years or even longer. Yeah. Because neighbor would talk. We got a lot of nosy neighbors. All right. If you don't mention, hey, tenant may say, why don't you tell me? Oh, usually Caucasian doesn't really care much. Asian, probably. I don't know. Everybody have a different culture, but I mean, some people do really care a lot. Number 2. Oh, including, if you talk about more than 3 years, that's the, if the accident, just like, what I just mentioned, if the pool has an accident, that's not considered natural death. Yeah. So if you are the investor or you have an investor buyer and they want to invest a house, I'd rather have them don't have a pool. Okay? Townhouse, that's fine because it's not belong to is outside, or any community pool or PUD. If any community pool, that's fine. That's okay. What I'm saying, single family home. If they have a pool in the backyard, think twice before you purchase this property. It's just because accident may happen. Accident, yeah. But later on, I'm gonna cover you when I cover it on the rental agreement. I'm gonna talk about the pool addendum. But that is usually I keep on thinking only that the human being has an accident. But how about pets? Pets may have an accident, okay? Because I do, I pick up the dead rats, at my pool. Who knows? Is you got a hamster as a pet? Well, it may drown, right? Dog may like it, but some other animal may not like it. We'll go, on the pool addendum. We'll go through that. Number 2, in order to government health official identify the property as being contaminated by methamphetamine, if a yes, attach a copy of the order. So if you've been, contaminated to methamphetamine, so it's been planting something in the house, all right? You better disclose it. Not only that, you better have a clearance of the certificate. Yeah. The release of illegal controlled substance on the beneath of the property. Even legally, we all know we can plant marijuana in California, but it's up to the city. That's the city has to get, permission. What's the latest city they are allowed? Do you guys know about it? El Monte. Ooh. El Monte, they are allowed to plant the marijuana now. Just passed.
But you allow less than 6 if less than 6.
You don't need license. Yeah, if 6 or under, that's a personal use. You can plant on the backyard legally. Okay. I would disclose. Every time I see it, I will say so. I don't want any trouble. I show the house in Beverly Hills. They plant about like three or four marijuana at home, and seller see me. Oh, personal use. Oh, it's okay. But Chinese look at the house, they don't know that's the marijuana. Okay. When I look at it, I say, oh, okay. Seller look at look at me, focus that plant. I said, oh. And that's $1 million house. Yeah. So what? And I had the help the investor. They bought at the about 100. That's a pretty cheap, when they bought it a few years back, $120,000 house in Riverside. Well, that's cheap. Yeah, just about 1,000 square footage. And they planned something, I said, how come, they cover behind the garage? So I asked because they actually spread it out, lease a different tenant, and one of the tenants live in the garage. So I say, well, I said, I tell the listing agent, you tell the tenant remove it. I tell tenant remove because it's not the owner. So if the tenant over there, I rather don't have any trouble. I tell them, I say, well, you better have to remove it before we purchase. Yeah, because back in a few years back, marijuana is still considered illegal. Do you think El Monte, when they are okay to plant the marijuana, it's going to be affecting the real estate market? I don't know about price higher. The only thing is, I know the warehouse, the lease rate is higher because they plan to plant in the warehouse. And plant at home is not considerably. You will destroy the house. So they rather find a warehouse. Yeah. But on the other hand, to me, if I'm the landlord or somebody, you talk about, because I do the commercial property, if the warehouse lease or purchase, I don't care. But it's a lease. even the warehouse, if they built in by concrete, but what do you think? Office, they still built along with the drywall, everything. It may destroy the whole thing. You know, the office area. Yeah. Well, at least I got a couple seller, couple homeowner. They're thinking about to sell it, to move the area, especially Temple City. Okay, they scream so hard. Temple City Hall. Yeah, because right next to it. San Gabriel City, yeah, some people. To me, I don't care. Why? You want to sell? Okay, but I get a listing. And what do you want to buy now? If I can do it, let's do transaction. They want to move out and buy somewhere else because marijuana. So one of them, do they consider a move to Pasadena? That's okay. All right. Or the other one, because the kids in West LA. Well, why don't we just sell the Temple City and then we move to West LA, buy the condo or townhouse? Yeah, fine, because your kids is working in Santa Monica. Number 4, whether the property is located and the adjacent to the industrial use zone. If your property located, I really doubt it will locate an industrial zone, but sometimes it may next to it. If you ever did the property right next to Clark in Hacienda High, for example, on the north side of the street industrial, south side of the street residential, but you are just right on the borderline, I will probably disclose, just right next to it, because that's considered adjacent. See that? Not just located in or adjacent to a. A lot of people think, no, it's not located in industry use. Obviously, you don't, but it's adjacent right next to it. Then you still need to disclose.
Any distance will be
common sense. Use your common sense. If you're so far away, yeah, no. But you are a few streets away, you better say so. So I didn't really say industrial use, and maybe I can say in general, a zone district allow manufacturing, commercial, or airport use. See that? If it's close by airport, would you disclose it? Yeah. Commercial, warehouse area, or shopping plaza. Any commercial property next to it or close by, you disclose it. Because the more you disclose, less liability, less trouble later on. Okay. So don't mark everything. No. Unless you tell it is really no. I mean, on those questions. Number 6, whether the number 5, whether the property is affecting by the nuisance creating by industrial use zone. If you next to airport, both. Why? Noise, nuisance. Okay, or railroad. I'm not so sure about school. School do have a noise too. On the football field. Yeah, and the nighttime marching band. Hey. Whether the property is located within 1 mile, former federal and state ordinance location. What's that? Jail. So if you sell those property close by Eastville, the South Eastville, Chino, they do have a 3 jail over there in Chino. So that is something you may have to say so. Whether the property is a condominium or located in a planned unit development or other common interest subdivision. So if the condominium or PUD, you need to disclose. Because they do have a common area, common walkway, common driveway, shared driveway. That'll consider common area. Common interest subdivision. Number 8, insurance claim affecting the property within the past 5 years. You ask the seller, did you claim your homeowner insurance in the past 5 years? But if we have the fire breakout, say 10 years ago, do you want to disclose it or not? It's more than 5 years. I would. I would disclose it. You know, the house got, had a fire, claim on a fire, insurance. And as a buyer's agent, you got to be smart enough. What do you tell the buyer? Hey, half of a house is new. 10 years old, right? The rest of it, the other half of a house, 30 years old. And this part of maybe your living room, your kitchen, is only 10 years old. Yeah. Yeah.
If we got a main street, we go get in. Turn right is the house, and then straight go to the condominium or apartment. So do we need to disclose that?
Is that the walkway considered a common area?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a common area. Yeah.
Right?
Because the more you disclose, it's gonna hurt. You just have to, whatever you mark yes here, you gotta have to explain on the bottom. If it's not enough space, you check here. You will attach addendum for it, for explanation. So just don't mark yes and leave it blank. No. Those are if the buyer's agent see that, I will give it back. Please explain. Yeah. Number 9, affect the matter affecting the title of the property. Usually we don't seller doesn't know, because that until you see the title insurance title report, you'll see if anything wrong with the report. And if they knew it, they will probably say so. But number 9, I would say 99.9% they probably just mark no, because they don't even know. So that's why we got to review the title report. Number 10, material fact affecting defect affecting the property not otherwise disclosed to buyer. If you knew something is defect, you want to disclose to the buyer, go ahead. This is your time as a seller to disclose. Don't just hide it, because later on when they live there or after the inspectors, it will show. 11, this is something new. I know some people, they argue with that. Plumber fixture on the property that are non-compliance plumbing fixture as defect by Civil Code Section 1101.3. What's 1101.3? I didn't know until a few days. Because it used to be we never noticed that, and now people bring in the subject. Because they were related for those when we sign it on, remember the other disclosure, carbon monoxide detector and the water conservation. And that is related to the Water Conservation Act. We got 1101.3, 1101.4. I searched on the 1101.3 as the toilet. See if it's a 1.6 gallon or less. That's an old water conservation law. It has to be 1.6 gallon or less. Most of them, if you did the remodeling, usually it's 1.6 gallon. But same thing on this part, 99.9% the seller will not know, because they don't even know if they never remodel or anything like that. So that's the if they don't know the issue, that's fine. You know, they just mark no. And it's up to the buyer, did you really enforce that? some buyer, they really concerned. Then you don't buy anything built in 1994, because that's the law, built in the 1994 or older. That doesn't really have a compliance with the water conservation law in California. That's only in California. So if you're signing the listing agreement, remember, when I go, I went over the did I go over the listing agreement? Yeah. Did I? Yeah. Listing agreement on the bottom of the, I think it's the third page on the bottom. It will talk about the water conservation. This is a part. Let me just refresh your memory. So that's why if the house built in 1994, I'm not so sure this is right here. Huh? No, sorry. This is wait, it should be here. What about? Is that a listing agreement? I think so. Let me just go on the. On the purchase listing agreement, let's see if he has it. No, this is the old one, 1917. I gotta have to look at the new one because the June 18 they revised. Oh, I don't go all the way out. Oh, lockout. Okay, fine. That's fine. Went out too soon. Oh, they fixed it. That's quick. I know it's the I know the one of a listing agreement on that. Not is it the purchase? I mean the lease listing agreement, or is the for sale listing agreement? They do also mention that. Let me just take a quick look. Not there. Not there. Import. If it's a lease, let's see here. This is a new lease. Yeah, there's a lease right here. Water conservation plumbing fixture. When you do the lease listing, they also mention right here. Not for sale, it's lease. So later I'm going to cover that, just give you the, the head start. So the premises was built on after the January 1st, 1994, or is before, prior. So you can see that the Civil Code section 1101.1, affecting January 1st, 2017, for single family resident property, and January 2019, okay, for multiple residential property, you gotta have to follow. See, that is considered toilet, shower head, interior faucet, okay, and urinals. So those are, the new. That's why, they just, this one is revised in June 18th, 2018. Don't worry, I'll give you this copy later. This is only when we start go over with the lease, okay? Lease property. Just give you the amount. They all mention that. Purchase, they probably didn't really mention that much detail because they figure It's a purchase. Buyer, you on your own. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, anything you mark between 1 through 11, if you mark any answers yes, then you gotta have to, make the explanation on the bottom here. Okay, now if there's space, that's okay. Attach with the addendum. Any question? Because those are probably the most important out of SPQ. You gotta answer clearly, okay, and thoroughly. All right, we go through here. It's a B. Repair and the alteration. So B1, any alteration, modification, replacement, improvement, remodeling, material repair on the property, including those resulting from home warranty claim. So if you do have any alteration, modification, or replacement, improvement, remodeling, anything during the stay on the property, all right? You mentioned, I know it's very hard. If you do the major remodeling, 3 line, it's not enough space to put everything out. It's okay, just attach, okay? Attach addendum. So that's why addendum, you can actually attach what the SPQ and explain everything here. You just say according to B something, B1, B2, or whatever, the paragraph maybe, yeah. So see that in a lot of item, you can put it on anything material repair or anything what you repair or anything, even including home warranty claim. That means if even home warranty repair, you need to mention. If you stay there for 10 years, 20 years, everything. This is the time you disclose everything. B2, anything alteration, modification, replacement, improvement, remodeling, or material repair to the property done for the purpose of energy or water efficiency, improvement, and renewable energy. Like what? Maybe solar panel, toilet. If you replace the water conservation, new toilet, new a shower head, for water saving, anything, or faucet. That's what you can put it right here. That's what you did the improvement for energy or water efficiency improvement.
Maybe 10, 20 years forgot already.
Do your best. That's why. Think. That's SPQ is a form. Take your time to fill in. Not right now, right away. So that's why you give the form to the seller ahead of time. Right after you get the listing, usually if you could. Don't wait until the open escrow. You tell him to rush to fill in. He may not remember anything. Especially, when they bought it as a brand new, then or 20, 30 years. A lot of items. I gotta have to think. I usually tell them, say, you don't need to fill out right away. Get a piece of paper, do the brainstorming. What you did. What you need to put it on about this house. If you're the buyer, what do you like to know? What do you do? All the upgrade, all the repair, all the remodeling, all the improvement. Put it on the a blank a piece of paper. Then you start sorting out on different category. Tell them to find somebody speak English to fill it out the form, not me. What I pay you for? I'm selling your house, but I'm not your translator. Because if you want to acting as a translator, it's going to be your responsibility if you translate it wrong. I won't do that. Go ahead. You already signed a contract. Too bad. You stick with me, whether you like it or not. I probably won't be that mean, but I tell them, I say, look, I'm not in a position to translate it because I'm your agent. You need to find professional translator to translate all your form, just like you find attorney to fight your case as well. Okay? But attorney will not do the translation to you either. You know that? You got to find a professional translator. Why the court need a professional translator? None of an attorney, none of a DA will translate anything for you. Why you don't learn English? Then don't move here, technically. The attorney will probably even more meaner than we do. I mean, but on the other hand, if you really want me to tell you, okay, I can only tell you what is this. Remember how I tell you? I can tell you, what's a B1, what's talking about. You write a piece of paper in Chinese, and I'll write it, through your paper. Whatever you write, I translate it. I wrote it down as English. You copy my word. You copy word by word into the form and your own handwriting. Then you take his Chinese paper and the one on the mine, I destroy it. No evidence. If you tell me who wrote that, not me. You, seller. Okay? Who helped you? Not me. That's the best I can do. I didn't really say I'm the professional translator, but I will explain the form to you. But you have to roll it down yourself. Yeah. A lot of people, they think they pay me a lot, pay us a lot, okay? No. Did you ever complain when you see doctor? You pay him a lot or pay her a lot? Or especially do a surgery? Did you ever complain? Oh, you charge too much. Well, you want your life back or not? It's up to you. Yeah. That's why you have a different level. Say if you do the heart surgery, some people can finish up in 1 hour. Some doctor have to finish in 4 hours. What's the difference? Well, it's just time different. Do you think it's just a time different? You have a higher risk when you do the heart open for 4 hours or 1 hour, okay? And recovering rate. That's a big difference. And those doctors, if they can finish an operation within 1 hour compared to 4 hours, you know how much they charge? Could be 3 times more. It's okay. You find a doctor to do it for you 3-4 hours. Or you want me to do it 3 times more, whether you like it or not. Same thing, attorney, right? Why the attorney have a different rate? Why the accountant have a different charge rate? It could be $200 or $1,000 per hour. And how much do you worth? How much do you worth? You're $200 agent or $500 agent or $20 agent. That's a difference. Okay? Different level. So you gotta have to value yourself as well. Listing agent, not assistant. A lot of people think about don't push all the responsibility to assistant, because who is going to be finalized to read through the whole paperwork? Me. I have TC, okay? Who got to read through all the paperwork? I would not allow my TC to do any form. They can do the disclosure statement, okay? But if you talk about, I know our office, some of our agents even have the assistant or TC to issue the attemptant, to issue a counter offer. That's a lot of risk because you may put the wording wrong. I mean, you could have them to draft it. That's okay. But you got to read it at the end. You're a listing agent. You're a licensed agent. Okay? You have to read through at the end. Okay? Because otherwise, if any trouble, not assistant's fault, listing agent. Who carry the license? That's it. Yeah. Number 3, ongoing or recurring maintenance on the property. For example, drain and sewer clean out, tree, pest control service. So if you have any ongoing maintenance, you can disclose it. You know, some of the sellers, they did pay for the periodic pest control. Okay, so every year they have people, they come out, and if they, just like they pay annual fee, if any, you know, termite, and they will clean it or do the repair within whatever the fee, you know, because they just like buying an insurance. That's it. And number 4, any part of a property being painted within the past 12 months. It happened a lot, right? Because usually when we are selling the property, we usually tell seller paint the house. So just go ahead and disclose it. Yes, we did paint it. What area? Or whole house? Okay, inside, outside. Number 5, if there is a pre-1978 property where any renovation, sanding, cutting, demolition, or lead-based paint surface completed in compliance with the Environmental Protection Agency lead-based paint renovation rule. Some people may not mark yes, but that means if you sanding, cutting, demolition. Say for example, if you did not do any, if you're remodeling, never changing the floor plan, then obviously you didn't do sanding, cutting, or demolition. If you do that, if you're changing different floor plan, yes, you may cut it. If you start cutting the drywall, maybe. Okay, they may have the lead, you know, coming out because you cut through the lead-based paint surface exposed. If you did not do it, just like, okay, I replaced the kitchen, I didn't really change any layout, same layout. Okay, most likely you won't. Because, you know, if you do so, then same thing, then you say, yeah, you basically, if you mark yes, and you gotta have to make sure, believe me, nobody know what they are talking about. Especially contractor, what are you talking about? Yeah. Because you have to, if you want to do the sanding, cutting, because when you cut it open, the surface exposed, or demolition, and you gotta have to compliant. Okay, do it carefully so the lead will not come out. I don't know how they do it, but I don't know what's considering, but that's a law. Yeah. So that's why this question is really hard to tell. If the seller asks you, should I mark yes or no? Your choice. If anything after 1978, no problem. Okay, then it's no. What I'm saying is pre-1978 house. And I say, well, when you do remodeling before 1978, usually the remodeling before 1978, you gotta remodel it again. Yeah. Hey, Arnold. So that's why if you're looking at the 1978, but if you did anything, demolition or do the addition or something like that, okay, then you can always, you know, mention that. If you make sure you know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like the shower top.
Mm-hmm.
When we change that part of the shower, it's no good, so we know where to change it. We need to cut the back of the wall, cut out, change everything.
Yes.
So if we do that, do we need to mention the cutting, painting, whatever, or remodel or something like that? Do it.
Technically, it is. We cut it open. Yes. Yeah. It is.
So we need to say so, right?
Suppose, but we answer different area. We didn't really answer 1978. What did we answer? Oh yeah, B1.
Doing the first one, right? That's a code improvement.
Yeah, it's an improvement. Okay, because this is a renovation.
Yeah.
What we do is a repair. Like your question, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta have to read the word carefully. Renovation, I mean the whole house. Okay? The project, the whole house. That is repairing. Different. Right? You did cut the wall open, which is true. It is. Because I have one in the escrow, and the buyer wanted us to replace a shower control, because shower control is really hard to turn. And I talked to the seller and say, because I'm the listing agent, tell the seller, hey, you better replace it. And 2-bathroom. Because the temperature control, the tenant have to use a wrench. That's a little bit hard. I say, why? And tenant never complain. To me, that's not acceptable. Okay? Then now, after they replace, I talk to them. Is that better? Yeah. Why you delay? You've been living here for years. Anyway, that's a 1964 building. Yeah, we did cut it open from the back to replace. It has to. Okay, both bathroom. Huh? Do you think I'm the contractor? Yes. Okay. Depends. Usually cost, if you replace that parts and labor, that's depend on how good a material. I would say rule of thumb, if he done, okay, it really depends on if the backside just a strictly drywall, nothing block. Okay. Probably I would say $400. Okay, parts and labor. Replace the control, the main control. You go on the back. Okay. The parts alone probably $100 or less, but mainly it's the labor. Why? Because they are not just replace it; they have to patch your wall. When they patch your, after they patch your wall, they have to put the texture. Right? Not just patch it, texture, then paint it. So how many times the contractor gonna come in? You cannot do everything at the same day. You gotta wait until it's dry. So you gotta come back 3 times. Not tiles. If you have a tiles right here, right? Shower right here. But if the back side is a dry wall, you want to break the tile? That's even cost more. Okay? Tile that I cannot give you the estimate because I don't know how expensive that tile. Can I find the same tiles? Or if you find some property, you know what happened? If they cannot go through the dry wall, you see that the center control. How come that tile different than others? Because they have to cut it open and replace different tiles. They cannot find an exactly match tile. So you got to make a different style. Okay? That's how that happened. And on my case, this time it's very lucky. One is a drywall, easier. The other one a little bit tougher because behind it's a drywall, but it got a water heater behind it. So instead of replace the control, I gotta have the contractor have to remove the water heater first. Won't you? That it costs more. Okay. Last time, when we did it on that for like a 2-bathroom, about $800, so I figured about $400. Okay, replace on each control. But it depends though, because if the water heater behind it, it costs about $800 to $900. So that's why you rather play dumb. Don't do the estimate. Just for your information, you and me. That's it. You gotta indicate yours. I see. Okay, that's why you gotta think about your own budget. Okay. Okay. So that's why it depends. If you have anything blocked behind it or not. Yeah. You can always have a contractor. Give you the quote or estimate. C. Defect of any following, including past defect that have been repaired: heating, air conditioning, electrical, plumbing, including presence, polybutyl pipe, water, that's a PVC pipe, water, sewer, waste disposal, septic system, sump pump, well, roof, gutter, chimney, fireplace, foundation, crawl space. Crawl space, that's if you got a raised foundation on the bottom, crawl space. Okay, you crawl underneath the floor. Attic, soil, grading, drainage, retaining wall, interior, exterior, doors, windows, wall, ceiling, floor, appliances. So if you have any defect of any following, you disclose it. Not just a current defect, past defect, and that has been repaired. Disclose it. Say, you should be happy you disclose it. Why? You actually tell a buyer, I did replace a brand new air conditioning system or heating system, right? Or water heater. That's the time you show how much you spend in the house. You try to start showing the value of the house. I did upgrade. I did this, I did that. They say, what's wrong with the drainage? Well, drainage do have a life expectancy too, just like water supply line. Drainage, maybe 50, 60 years. Or water supply line, from the water company to the main house. They also have the pipe, the main pipe. They also have a life expectancy. Yeah, everything. Even gas line. People say, why? Gas line. It's only gas. It's not water or it doesn't really have a rust. Yeah, gas line, same thing. They were deteriorating too. 50, 60 years. That's pretty much you figured it out. Sometimes the gas line need to replace it too. Okay. So those are, and definitely we all know about the electrical. Yeah. Before, we see probably the most the electrical system is a copper wire. But what's an really old system? What kinds of wire? Not copper wire. Some people, they will suggest you better replace it. Yeah. Aluminum. Inside, 里面的那个皮有没有 ？Okay, inside the wire is not copper. Okay, conducting. It's the aluminum. Yeah, that's a really old one. Yeah, and some of a submarine house, if you look at their electrical meter, do you know what's normal electrical meter? What we have at home now, minimum, even townhouse, 100 amp. Like my house is 200 amp. Some of a builder, if the bigger house is 200 amp, the minimum, they're probably 120 amp to 150 amp. But some marino house, I can see some of a house is only 60 amp. Oh boy, 60 amp. You cannot have a jacuzzi or you cannot have a spa. It's just not capable. You cannot even have a 220 voltage, like a dryer or conventional oven. No, you only got 60 amp in the whole house. For those, feature you want to add it in, like, when I do the remodeling at my house, I gotta have to continue adding it. You got the, spot, for jacuzzi on a tub, add another outlet. 220 dryer, add another outlet. Conventional oven, another outlet. The good thing I got plenty, That's why when you see the amp, you'll see how many slots on your electrical meter. The more slot you have more, you can expand. Yeah. But if you see those submarine house, 60, that's it. You have no slot to expand or anything. Because, when you replace an electrical panel, it's pretty expensive. Usually costs $3,000 to $4,000. Just, for that metal box, costs that much. Okay? Yeah. Especially, for the turf, between Chinese, and China and America. Did you notice that the remodeling material, it costs more and more later? That's it. You got to be at it. Later on, maybe my iPhone may cost more too. Made in China. I don't think they can move back to United States, according to Cook, as we don't have a production line here, with around that because basically United States, they lose, all the production, skills. Not really skill. They don't really have an environment. You got to have to reopen all the factory, everything, but I mean, you don't really have those environment along with the radius, maybe like a mile or 2 miles. If you look at China or Taiwan, basically why they can build so everything so quickly, because within like industrial zone area. United States, end up is design. End up, what they design, everything's new. But you talk about manufacturing. No, they didn't really have many, area they can do. They still have a skill or the worker or the environment to do, all the manufacturing. Waste is water, storing, okay, waste disposal or septic system. Do you know what's a septic system? No, maybe? No? Okay. Septic system is like a storage, but instead of they connect it. Okay, the sewer, you connect it with the city. But the septic or the waste disposal, you have your own tank, reservoir underneath. So you need to have somebody pump it up after a couple years. Okay? Pump it up, your waste. That's usually when the custom home, remote area, they have no way to connect it with the city or county on the waste line, okay, the sewage line. Then they have to, you have a big tank under your house or in the front yard, okay? So don't let it overflow. It may not smell good. If you do inspection for those houses, yeah, well, I have the buyer, they are cheap. They tell me to inspect the septic tank. I say, I can't. I just look at it. So, I mean, it's like, I only look at flashlight. You hold your breath, okay? You look at the flashlight, just see any crack. How do I, it's about 1 foot. I have to hold it. I don't want to fail it. After, you have to make sure, you gotta understand what question you gotta ask. Before you look at the septic system or septic tank, you gotta have the seller to pump up empty. You gotta have to pump up empty, okay? And that's why even those technicians, they say, when I pump, you stay inside the house because the hose may blast if broke. Because he did it before. It's not good. So that is the, when you look at it, it's the our job is actually you learn all in the hard way. Yeah. Sometimes being an assistant, you don't have to go out like that, but being a listing agent, yeah. Well, certainly, especially male, agent. I don't think female agent. You wear the high heel, you inspect the septic. I did. No, I just actually hold it on the side, and because about 1 foot you get into the main cap, and the septic tank is about the house. When I look at it, it's about this to the table, probably up to here, pretty big, and from the bottom to the roof, this big. It's a huge concrete reservoir. Well, you can be a PVC. It may not be concrete. It depends. Okay, some of what we call is like septic tank. It could be the vertical one. Okay, big one. Okay, like in Asia, you probably see like a water tank in a towel. Figure it out. It's bigger and put it underground. As a.
The seller, as soon as underground, the seller would tell you there's.
Yeah. Yes, you would not know. Sometimes you will check on the title. Title will show. Okay, on the real list will show it's a septic tank or not. Okay, that's why I say when you submit the offer, check on the real list, the title report. It will tell you a lot of information. Later, I will tell you how to read it too. So you look at that, and I just kind of hold it because it's about the main cap. You just look, hold your breath. Just like. Oh yeah, no crack. Okay, fine. I said, "What?" I tell him, I said, "Why don't you just look at it yourself?" Just as you say, why I pay you for, right? No. Yeah. That's why some of the buyer, they purposely hire the male agent, right? They can do more. Just like I cannot get lost, when I show the property. The male, female agent, oh, I'm so sorry I got lost. That's okay. Yeah, I'll drive you. Male agent, forget it. You drive me. So sump pump. What's a sump pumps? Don't know? Okay. Sump pump, if you got a townhouse, you go below. See your garage level is below your street level. Usually the driveway in the middle, they have the cap, like the drainage system. On the bottom, that's a motor. So when it's raining, like, we have rain, this few days, you'll see those townhouse, the water will get into the drain. Do you think how the water going to the down level, right? Street level is right here, but the driveway going down. You certainly cannot let all the neighbors' garage get in wet, right? If the sump pump is not working, inside the drainage have a pump. Where they pump? They pump the water out to street level, so they can get the main drainage out. Or they sump pump, they pump directly to the outside drainage. They have a motor, okay? Pump it out. That's a sump pump. Usually it happens on the townhouse area, but unless like if you're on the a remote area and you happen your garage down there, when you build the house, they will tell you need to install the sump pump. Otherwise, water will getting into your garage or your house if your house is below the level. Or you have to do the grading. You have to do really, really nice grading. Usually, inspector will probably telling you, along with the house, you better concrete it instead of use the soil, everything. Why? It protect your foundation, protect your stucco, protect your paint. Will last definitely longer. And not only that, if you could install the rain gutter along with the roof line or part of a roof line. So when the water coming out, you will channel the water to some area, not like everywhere. Well, we know that, okay? The whale is, the current whale is different than what we see in Asia, it's a big hole. No, the whale is just a pipe. Now the current whale is a pipe with a motor. Why? They just stick the pipe all the way to the ground and pump the water out. You don't have to see it. It's not like used to be you have to, bring the bucket down and, roll it up. It's different now, okay? It's still called whale, but it's don't think about, what you see in the soap opera. Oh, okay. With the, you still need to bring the bucket down and roll it up with the rope. No, yeah, it's just a stick. I mean, just a pipe, metal pipe go all the way. Because when they drilled it and stick in the pipe, when they reach the water, then they connect with the pump motor, pump the water out. That's a whale. Well, not that easy. Why I'm saying that because when you deal with the house in the whale, with the whale, you probably won't see it here around this area. If you do have a whale, it really have to investigate, not just the, later on you'll see another addendum, you call the septic system and whale addendum when you deal with those house. You gotta have to inspect it on the mineral, bacteria, and the speed and the water flow, on that whale. Is that safe to you to drink or to use it? So different whale have a different metal. Sometimes the water they contain some of the metal, mineral, everything. So you got to make sure it's safe to us to drink. Usually, when they did, it's like pump it up to the huge water tank, maybe 5,000, 10,000 water tank at home, and they will make sure. Last time when I looked at the house, as actually in Temecula, way inside horse property, they have 3 whales. One whale is for gardening. One whale is for animal. Then one whale is for sellers to drink. 3 different whales. Then you know why. That's because the 3 different level of the filter on that. Oh, the price is not that expensive. Last years back, we bought it about less than $800,000. Huge property, 25 acres lot, with the house in the middle, and the mother-in-law house. It's about like 1,000 yards away. And that's another house outside. So that's either you can do a maid's quarter or mother-in-law's house. Another 1 bedroom, 1 bath, a kitchen, and the other house. But if you want to look at the whole property, get in the car. You have to drive the SUV along with the property. It's not pavement road. And the horse barn, they can actually have about 14. That's a huge, yeah. In Temecula, they plant a lot of avocado, because it used to be it's an avocado field. We show the property, they got about like 600 avocado tree. Yeah. And the seller said, you can have some. Hey, avocado is pretty expensive, right? $1 each. They usually have a worker to pick up their avocado twice a year. And whatever the money they can, it more than pay for their property tax, what they make, avocado. Tons of them, bucket of them, a lot of them. You talk about 600, some even more. One I saw it is about 1,000, and the other one a little bit less, 200, because they all have a huge yard. If you have 5 acres, easy, okay, 5, 6 acres lot, you can have easily 200, avocado tree. Because used to be Temecula, a lot of areas avocado field. Yeah. Roof, we know that. We gotta have to see if anything on the roof. We have tile, certainly tile roof, composition, shingle, or metal, or gravel, all different type of roof. You gotta have to kind of understand what kinds of roof. Okay, they all have a life expectancy. Gutter, that means the rain gutter, chimney, okay, for the fireplace. Foundation. So we got 2 kinds of foundation. One is concrete slab. The other one is raised foundation. Okay, concrete slab is like whatever you see on the concrete. Okay, concrete slab is cheaper. It is. You think a lot of people think more? No. Raised foundations cost more, because raised foundation you need more laborers. You raise the foundation up, you need a post, then you need a level. Concrete, you just pour the concrete with the steel bar. That's it, done. Faster, cheaper. Yeah. But why do people still build it? Some of a custom home, they rather build on a raised foundation. Why? It's because it's a figure easier to maintain later on, because you can still do all the piping underneath. But concrete, you pour the concrete later on, you're gonna have to break the concrete, or you have to reroute. Some of the water supply now you gotta go through the roof. Okay. Another thing is that because the raised foundation keep the airflow better, because you have the air go underneath, and somebody have the what's that called? 风湿那是什么? What kinds of for the English? 风湿病关节. If somebody has joint has a problem, especially on the rainy day, they will hurt. What's that? Arthritis, yes. If you live in the concrete, foundation, because you have more on the moisture could be from the bottom. It's not as dry as the raised foundation, because the airflow better. Okay. Yeah. So maybe it's arthritis or something. Some people hurt. So especially rainy day, some people the knee, joint, yeah. Crawl space. That's when you got a raised foundation, you can crawl underneath. Yeah. When I was in high school, I crawl on my own house, my parents' house, or someone else. It's so cool. I mean, it's like it used to be I'm skinny. I'm still. I'm So because the crawl space is not big, okay, the entrance is not big. I can still get in, I just don't want to, okay. You can see, a lot of drainage, piping, even gas line underneath. Foundation, okay, if you look at it, let's say, on the foundation wise, last time, remember I mentioned to you prior to 1960, the foundation is about 12 feet apart on each post, okay? But after 1960, because for the newer earthquake rule, they all have to be 6 feet apart. So on the older house, anything prior to 1960, if they have to reinforce the foundation, especially the raised foundation house, you got to, in between 12 feet, you got to have to stick another post, on that. You got better support. So yeah, that's after 1960. It should be 6 feet between on each post, underneath. Okay, the old house, the old rule is 12 feet apart. So that's when you see the crawl space. If you look at the use a flashlight, you take a look, you can see that, 6 feet or 12 feet. Then you can tell the buyer maybe your extra cost later. It's not going to cost more, $2,000-$3,000, depending on how big is the house. You need to add more support on the bottom. That's it. Attic. We know the attic area, right? Above the ceiling. Some of a house may not have an attic. Why? Because some of a house, if the ceiling like this, the roof line like this, they don't have an attic space. Some of a single story or high ceiling on the second story, they don't have an attic space. Attic space has to be this, so you got to, in the between. Yeah, the devil on that, yeah. Grading. What's the grading? The house, usually you got to have a grading for water flow out to the street. Usually if you see the house is on the backyard a little bit higher, front yard a little bit lower. Why? So when it's raining, the water will channel to the front, to the street. Unless you want to build a drainage in your backyard, if you could. Not just all rely on the grading. Why? Especially with the raised foundation house. You don't want the house get into your crawl space, right? Because they usually lower than the street level, lower your backyard and the front yard. The water is easy to penetrate and stay there. And until the water sink all the way in, it can take some time. Because I seen the house before, I remember in Chino Hills with the raised foundation, right after the huge rain, like, this couple of days, we're supposed to have a huge rain today and tomorrow. If you see the house, for example, Thursday still raining, okay, Friday. You go that, the crawl space, full of water. You cannot even, because they're usually going down and a crawl space underneath. Water. So water level is about like a foot to about, usually the minimum crawl space is 18 inches, 1.5 feet. Some of them is taller, 2 feet. Okay, but minimum, the crawl space has been 18. Otherwise, people cannot get in. Yeah, 18 inches. Yeah, 12 inch. That's a 1 foot. Yeah, so 1.5. So that is because, it doesn't have a drainage. They just rely on the grading. So they may still happen like that. It may not penetrate to the house, but why I don't like to have a water in my crawl space? Because the post is a half concrete, half wood. What do you think if the wood in the water? Next thing, mold. Okay, yeah. That's just, for potentially, I gotta have to foresee what's going to happen. You already know drainage, retaining wall, along with the fence. Okay, the retaining wall. It could be wood, could be vinyl, could be block. Okay, bricks between neighbors. That's a retaining wall. And some are retaining wall, block the soil, especially have a slope. That's a retaining wall. You blocked it, on the back. Interior, exterior door, okay. Windows, wall, ceiling, floor, and all appliances. Okay, those are you guys don't know. C2, the leasing of any of the following on or service of property: solar system, water softening system, water purifying system, alarm system, and propane tanks. Anything is a lease, not owned by the seller. We disclose it. Usually we lease a solar panel. Very few people maybe lease a water softener system because it's not that expensive. A water purifying system, usually just buy it outright, $400. Water softening system, probably $1,800. Alarm system, when you sign in a contract with the alarm company, that is considered lease, their equipment. Okay, if you have a contract with them for 3 years, you get your equipment free. Not exactly free, because you sign up with the monitoring for them, and they actually part of it they're using as your equipment money. Propane tank, we didn't really have the propane tank here, but some of the area on the mid California maybe, okay, Bakersfield area. Yeah, I may have a vacant lot, sell one of my golf buddy, they have a 80 acres lot, want to sell. That's about the Bakersfield area. They have developed pretty well now. It used to be it's like middle of nowhere. Now it's like, whoo, more and more houses built there. But over there, you're going to have to put, used to be, for what I know, I'm not so sure, did they change it or not? Used to be you have to buy the lot first before they will build a house for you. They want to make sure you buy the property. If they build it, people won't come, okay? It's not like a field of dream, all right? If you build it, they will come. Right? It's not the movie. Bakersfield, they're builder, they're afraid. If I build it, nobody come. I sit there and pay the interest. No way. They got to make sure you buy the lot first, then they build the house for you. Number 3, alternative septic system and serving the property. So if you have any other different type of alternative septic system, okay, then you mention that. Usually it's no. D, disaster relief and insurance and civil settlement. Those are, unless you have like a state emergency, they're helping you, or earthquake. Financial relief or assistance, insurance, and settlement sought to receive from any federal, local, private agency, insurer, and private party by past and present owners on the property due to any actual and alleged damage to the property arising from the flood, earthquake, fire, other and occurrence of defect, whether or not any money received was actually used to make repairs. At least here we don't. But I mean, if you look at, for example, Texas, they have what? Flooding? Or used to be some other state like hurricane, okay? Those are if those residents, if they do receive those money from state, okay, or government, you disclose it. Water-related and more issue. Water, intrusion into any part of any physical structure on the property, leak from and in any appliances, pipe, slab, and roof, standing water, drainage, flooding, underground water, moisture, water-related soil setting, slippage, and affecting the property. So that's all considered leaking. Leaking could be plumbing to roofing, okay, or any appliances, washer, okay, pipe, slab, roof, standard water, drainage, flooding, underground water, moisture. So how do you come with the underground water moisture? If you have, raining so much and you don't have proper drainage, and for example, what I just tell you, the raised foundation, right? You're full of water underneath your crawl space. Do you think what caused the mold? Yeah, moisture will come up to your floor, to inside the house. So if you do have anything issue, you rather say so. Okay, don't hide it, because if you hide it, it will not get away unless you remove it. So if the buyer, they have an issue, especially some kids, they do have asthma. You better tell them and say, why don't you do the you encourage them, why don't you do the mold inspection until if they satisfy, fine, then you get off the hook if they do consider that. Cost a few $100 for do the inspection. Any problem with the infestation and mold, mildew, fungus, spore, past and present on or affecting the property? You can say so. Okay. Sometimes the pest control people, they even will give you, the rhododendron on the report as well. 3, if the river, stream, flood channel, underground spring, high water table, flood, or tides are affecting the property or neighborhood. We don't have here though. I mean, unless you live in a coastal area and you live the level so low, the wave will get in. Otherwise, I don't think, the river, no, stream, no, yeah. Flood channel, if you unless you live close by a water dam, that may be, okay, they may have the issue. Or if later on, I did sell the property, they are, here they didn't really say much because of water-related mold issue. But I mean, sometimes, people may concern if you live, next to the water tank. Okay, if your backyard above the area, they have water tank behind it. Yeah, some people may concern on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's fine. If you don't know, that's okay. But when I say if you do, disclose it. If you do know it's a mold issue, usually you have a mold inspector and mold clearances people. They will give you the mold clearances certificate. Keep that. Pass it on to the next buyer. I did that, and it's clear. If you didn't know anything, yes, absolutely. If you don't know, or you make sure you know, you mark no. But if you do yes, if you know, it has mold, and you answer no, then you're in trouble. Let me finish at this page. F. Pest, animal, and pest. Pests on or in the property. If you know the seller, if the owner, they know it has a property. If the tenant has a pest before in the property, you got to say so, because some of a buyer, they may be allergic, to the pet. Could be cat, could be dog. Dog usually harder, but pets. Some people they got allergic to cats. They walk in the door, you can see their face start getting radish or something. Oh, wow! Oh, your neck, start itching. 2, problem with the livestock, wildlife, insects, and pests on or in the property. 3, past and present odor, urine, fence, discoloration, stain, spots, and damage on the property due to any of above. Hey, sometimes the cat's urine or dog's urine, it may damage, okay, the carpet, the color. Sometimes, did you ever see that if you have the pets, live in the backyard, and if they pee next to the condenser, the condenser, actually it will get rusted and corroded. Why? Because the urine is very acid. So that's why I say they start getting corroded, on the condenser fin, along with it. Past and present treatment and the eradication of the pests and odor, repair and damage due to any of the above. So if you do, do the treatment, they do have those people say, or a service, they can clean up the pet's odor. If you have that service before, you can certainly disclose it to make sure, because the next buyer, if they do have a pet and you do not clean it, some of the pets may not happy with some other, the smell, right? We cannot smell that. But pets, they could. Oh, I don't like this house. You know, someone lived there before, right? Okay, feel like that. So sometimes, you know, it doesn't matter the seller or the buyer. They may thoroughly clean up the house. Sometimes replace the carpet or the padding. It's not enough though. You just have to thoroughly to have those people clean up the whole house. You know, with the odor. Okay. All right. Let me stop right here because you know I do have a lunch appointment. So you know, they tell me to see if I can cut a little bit shorter. I say, so sorry, gonna have to, you know, for the 10 minutes early. Then I'll see you guys on Thursday. Yeah, thank you so much.